Deputy Minister in the Presidency for Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities, Omotoso&CweCwe, has condemned MacG over what she described as a gross violation of media personality Minnie Dlamini's constitutional rights. CweCwe said MacG made demeaning and speculative remarks on his popular podcast and chill platform last month, insinuating that Dlamini's past romantic breakups were due to genital odor. The remarks, she said, amounted to online gender-based violence and a direct affront to Dlamini's right to dignity, equality, and bodily integrity as guaranteed by the Constitution. She said these comments are disgusting and must be regarded as an unconstitutional violation of Dlamini's rights to freedom and security of the person, equality, and human dignity. They perpetuate the kind of misogyny that has no place in our democracy. CweCwe expressed deep concern over what she described as a pattern of harmful rhetoric by MacG, stating that this was not the first time the podcaster had used his platform to degrade Dlamini and other women. She called out the broader societal and historical context that enabled such behavior, referencing apartheid-era laws that treated black women as legal minors and the continued commodification of women through cultural practices, and said there is a deeply rooted cultural legacy of controlling women's bodies, sexuality, and agency. Statements like this are not just offensive. They are part of a wider system that normalizes gender inequality. The Deputy Minister acknowledged the widespread backlash from the public and organizations like Moja Love, which also condemned MacG's remarks. She praised South Africans who stood up against what she called abhorrent tendencies and emphasized that content creators and broadcasters must be held accountable, and said content creators must be responsible in their pursuit of influence. Broadcasters must enforce strict content standards that prohibit hate speech and personal attacks. Regulators should consider whether additional measures are needed to stop the spread of gender-based violence on digital platforms. CweCwe revealed that her office will formally report the incident to the Commission for Gender Equality, the South African Human Rights Commission, and the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Additionally, the issue of harmful podcast content will be raised with the Ministry of Communications and Digital Technologies to explore tighter regulation. Parliament's Communications and Digital Technologies Portfolio Committee will also be asked to consider legislative reforms aimed at increasing accountability for online content that endangers women and vulnerable groups. Furthermore, MacG may be summoned to appear before Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities. Failure to attend without a valid reason could result in legal consequences, including a fine or imprisonment of up to 12 months. Finally, CweCwe confirmed that legal experts would be consulted to determine whether a charge of criminal injury, a criminal offense involving the unlawful, intentional impairment of another's dignity, could be pursued against the podcaster, and said there must be consequences for this kind of behavior. Our democracy depends on upholding the dignity and humanity of every citizen, especially those most vulnerable to abuse and discrimination. Deputy Minister is under fire for condemning MacG while ignoring major cases. The Deputy Minister is facing a social media storm after publicly criticizing MacG over comments he made about media personality Minnie Dlamini. Backlash has ignited a fierce debate over government priorities, media freedom, and unresolved high-profile criminal cases in South Africa. CweCwe's condemnation of MacG, which has some interpreted as an attempt to summon him to Parliament, was met with widespread criticism from both the public and political figures. Many accused the Deputy Minister of hypocrisy and questioned her silence on more pressing national matters such as the Omotoso trial and the unresolved rape case of a 7-year-old girl, CweCwe. Omotoso acquitted after 8-year legal battle. Public outrage has been reignited following the acquittal of Nigerian pastor Omotoso, who was found not guilty of all charges after spending 8 years in custody. Omotoso had faced 32 charges, including rape and human trafficking, involving young women from his South African church. His arrest in 2017 and the subsequent televised trial made headlines across the country. A key witness alleged that Omotoso raped her at age 14. However, the judge dismissed the case due to prosecutorial mishandling, citing insufficient cross-examination and improper conduct by former prosecutors. The National Prosecuting Investigating Authority acquired these concerns and is now reviewing its legal options. Omotoso's co-accused Lusanda Solani and Zikiswa Sito were also acquitted. The NP admitted the drawn-out nature of the trial was partly due to Omotoso's multiple legal challenges. On the other hand, CweCwe's case remains in the shadows, at the heart of the public frustration in the unresolved case of CweCwe, a 7-year-old girl allegedly raped at Bergview College in Matatiele while waiting for a school bus in October last year. Despite the gravity of the incident, there has been little progress and even less official communication from Parliament. The school principal allegedly delayed reporting the incident and refused to provide a DNA sample, sparking national outrage. Many South Africans are demanding answers and accountability. One user wrote on the X app, they didn't have the same energy with the Omotoso and CweCwe cases, but when it's time to cancel a young black successful man, they act immediately. Another one said, what has Mapaseka Steve Letsike done with regards to Omotoso victims and CweCwe's case, skipping all the real and urgent cases but focusing on Minnie Dlamini and MacG? We stand with MacG in these difficult times of being targeted by the dark forces. Another one said they released Omotoso just few weeks. They can't find a man who raped CweCwe. 3 cops died in mysterious ways and they are busy with Minnie Dlamini's feelings. Another one defended MacG and said, what if they should be addressing serious issues like the CweCwe and Omotoso issues? Now they want to use MacG to shine and make themselves look like they are working. Get the F out of here, man. You all play too much. Another one shared the same sentiment and said Mapaseka Steve Letsike was quiet when Omotoso, a non-criminal, walked free, said nothing during the CweCwe case. But now that it's a young, successful black man, she suddenly pulls the feminism card. We stand with MacG. Someone also said they blue-ticked Omotoso case after our fellow sisters suffered in his hands. They also can't figure out who raped CweCwe, but they want to nest Minnie's feelings. We stand with MacG during these difficult times. Another one said nation was on standstill during heart-wrenching CweCwe news. Where was this parliament? Pastor Omotoso was acquitted from all charges, leaving victims in tears. Where was this parliament? Maximum. The EFF Youth Commander leader Lonzi has also added fuel to the fire, accusing Letsike of clowning and misunderstanding the constitutional separation of powers, and said there are 3 separate arms of the state: the executive, the legislature and the judiciary. A minister cannot summon anyone to parliament. He further claimed Letsike was using the MacG controversy for political gain, calling her actions a violation of governance norms, and said skipping all the real and urgent cases but focusing on Minnie Dlamini and MacG. Despite the controversy, MacG has received strong support from fans and commentators. What's your take on this one, people? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more news.